Okay. So we were discussing analysis of coal. The coal is subjected to two types of analysis. One is proximate analysis and another is ultimate analysis. The proximate analysis is bulk analysis where we determine bulk constituents like moisture, volatile matter, ash, and fixed carbon. Okay. In case of ultimate analysis, we will uh, try to understand how to estimate micro elements present in coal, okay, which are very important for us, which are contributing towards calorific value. Okay. So under ultimate analysis, if you look at the experiments, first one is determination of percentage of carbon and hydrogen, right? Second is determination of nitrogen. Then third one is then determination of sulfur, then ash, and finally oxygen. Okay. So here, if you look at the tabs, you can see these are the elements, okay, or you can say micro elements, which are contributing towards calorific value. The calorific value is important property of fuel. Okay. So carbon, hydrogen, sulfur, these are actually combustible. Nitrogen is not combustible. Oxygen is also not combustible. Oxygen required for combustion. Ash is non-combustible. Okay. But to determine percentage of oxygen, finally, we need all carbon, hydrogen, nitrogen, sulfur, and ash. So we will perform one, two, three, four. Four experiments need to be performed. Determine percentages of carbon, hydrogen, nitrogen, sulfur, and ash. So once we know these four constituents, oxygen percentage can be determined by subtracting sum of the percentages of these five from 100. That is percentage of oxygen. Okay, there is no experiment required to be performed for oxygen. Okay, so this is what the ultimate analysis. Okay. Let us see how to get it done. So under ultimate analysis, first target is to determine percentage of carbon and hydrogen. Okay, and to determine these two, we need one and same experiment, and name of the experiment is combustion tube method. Okay, you might have studied this. Okay, so this is most efficient method where we can estimate percentage of carbon and hydrogen very accurately in case of coal, right? So basic principle or basic idea behind this method of estimation of carbon and hydrogen. The basic idea is when carbon burns in presence of oxygen, okay, or oxygen of air, what will it produce? CO2. So this is combustion reaction of carbon, okay, and heat energy is generated that we utilize, okay. So carbon basically converted to or oxidized to carbon dioxide during burning or during combustion. Similarly, hydrogen during burning of a fuel is converted or oxidized, okay, into water. Okay, so we are interested in percentage of carbon and hydrogen. So if we determine amount of CO2 produced, that CO2 amount can be expressed in terms of percentage of carbon. See, we are interested in percentage of carbon and hydrogen in coal. Okay, so directly we cannot determine by looking at the coal or any other method. Okay, so what we do, we burn that known quantity of a coal in a combustion tube. Okay, so when we burn coal, carbon is converted into carbon dioxide. So carbon dioxide is a gas. Okay, we can trap it. Okay, we can measure its amount. So that amount of CO2 can be converted into percentage of carbon. Okay. Similarly, hydrogen present in coal is converted into H2O vapors. If we measure the amount of H2O vapors produced, we can express or convert that amount of H2O vapors into percentage of hydrogen. This is what the basic idea behind this method. Okay. So let us see how to get it done. So actual experiment or steps involved. First is a known weight, say 1 gram, 2 gram, whatever, of powdered and air dried coal sample is burnt in presence of pure oxygen in combustion apparatus. I will show you that combustion apparatus. So it is a long silica tube, okay, equipped with several fins, okay, and here in this tube, known quantity of powdered and air dried coal sample is burned completely in presence of pure oxygen. Okay, oxygen free from CO2 and H2O. You understand why? Because ultimately we are going to convert carbon present in coal into CO2, hydrogen present in coal into H2O by burning that coal in presence of oxygen of air. Okay, so that air should not contain CO2. Then that will create error. Okay, that will be extra carbon. So it should be free from CO2 as well as H2. Then we will get correct percentages of carbon and hydrogen. Right? Vaishnav Kubri. Vaishnav Kubri, lead it. Okay. So this is what the first step. A known weight of powdered and air dried coal sample is burned in the presence of pure oxygen in a combustion apparatus. So what will happen during burning? Carbon and hydrogen present in coal are converted into CO2 and H2O vapors respectively. Using these reactions, you can understand how carbon and hydrogen, they are converted into CO2 and H2O vapors. Okay. Now we need to measure the amount of these vapors produced, the amount of CO2 and amount of H2O. So the gaseous products with this CO2 H2O vapors, they are allowed to pass through. Okay, they are allowed to pass through the previously weighed. Previously weighed is accurately weighed. Its weight is known. Previously weighed U tube containing anhydrous calcium chloride powder to absorb H2O vapors first. Okay, so meaning of this is, see, our aim is what? Our aim is to measure amount of H2O vapors produced, and those amount of H2O vapors can be expressed as percentage of hydrogen. How to measure vapor quantity is very difficult to measure. So what we do, we connect one U tube, okay, containing anhydrous calcium chloride. The anhydrous calcium chloride is the efficient water absorbent, efficient moisture absorbent. You might have heard about this. Okay, so known quantity of calcium chloride is filled up in U tube, and that U tube is connected to combustion tube. Okay, so as soon as the mixture of these two gases, CO2, H2O, or any other gas, okay, if when they are passes through this calcium chloride tube, only water vapors are absorbed. Okay, calcium chloride will not absorb CO2 or any other gas. Only moisture will be absorbed. Okay, and initial weight of the tube is known. Okay, so after completion of experiment, weight can be determined. Okay, So after completion of experiment, there is increase in weight because now H2 vapors are absorbed. Okay, so final weight minus initial weight is what? Increase in weight because of H2O. That increase in weight is what? Weight of H2O. That we can express in terms of percentage of hydrogen. This is the first part. Okay, so basically known weight of coal is burned completely in a combustion tube. Carbon converted to CO2, hydrogen converted to water. Okay, so these gaseous products are allowed to pass through first through U tube containing anhydrous calcium chloride, and it is accurately weighed, previously weighed. Okay, so here water vapors are absorbed. Okay, and not CO2 vapors. CO2 vapors are carried further. Okay, and then these vapors are allowed to pass through the previously weighed KOH bulb, potassium hydroxide bulb, which is previously weighed, to absorb CO2 gas. So KOH is efficient CO2 absorber. Okay, it absorbs CO2 almost 100%. Okay, so here now it is previously weighed. Okay, and after absorption of CO2 at the end of experiment, we can measure weight. We can measure weight of KOH bulb. So there is increase in weight of KOH bulb. Why? Because now CO2 is absorbed. So that increase in weight of KOH bulb is what? Final weight at the end of experiment of that KOH bulb minus initial weight of KOH bulb before starting the experiment is what? Increase in weight, and that increase in weight is because of CO2. Okay, that CO2 is absorbed inside KOH, right? So that is what written over here. The increase in weight of calcium chloride tube corresponds to weight of H2O produced, and the increase in weight of KOH bulb corresponds to weight of carbon dioxide produced. That's all. So it's finished. Experiment is over. Okay, so at the end of experiment, we will have increasing weight of calcium chloride tube, and that is weight of H2. Okay, and increasing weight of KOH bulb, that is weight of CO2 produced. That's all. So these two weights now can be easily expressed. Okay, in terms of percentage of hydrogen and percentage of carbon. The weight of H2O is expressed as percentage of hydrogen. Weight of CO2 is expressed as percentage of carbon. Okay, so let us see how to get it done. So this is what the combustion tube apparatus. Okay. Now, if you look at this apparatus, you can see long silica combustion tube. Okay, silica combustion tube. It is provided with inlet. Inlet for what? Pure and dry oxygen. Pure and dry oxygen, free from CO2 and okay, the one inlet. Then inside that there is a sample holder. It's called a porcelain boat. Porcelain boat where we keep known quantity of a coal. Okay, जैसे आपल्याला कार्बन हायड्रोजन काढायचं, that known quantity air dried coal is kept over here. Then there is outlet. Okay, outlet. That outlet is connected to U tube. U tube containing anhydrous calcium chloride, and it is previously weighed, accurately weighed. Initial weight is known before starting the experiment, and that U tube is connected to KOH bulb. So it is bulb containing potassium hydroxide solution, and its weight is known. Okay, so this is about the construction. Now remaining parts like silver gauge, then copper gauge. Okay, they are not that important to understand. Actually, they have important role, but in active process, there is no major role. Okay. So here, they actually basically they are there to absorb the other oxidation products. Okay, and here we can see the furnace. Okay, or heating files for heating of the tube to allow this coal to burn completely. Understand? This is simple construction. Then, an actual experiment, as I told you before, we need to take a known quantity of a coal, say 1 gram, 2 gram, in this porcelain boat, and keep that boat in this silica tube. Okay, this tube, combustion tube, and fitted with all other articles required, connected with U tube and KOH bulb which are previously weighed, right? And this tube is kept in a furnace. Okay, this tube is kept in a furnace. Furnace is shown here. Now, and pure oxygen is passed into it. So, in presence of oxygen, there is combustion or burning of a coal. Coal start burning. So, during burning, carbon present in coal is converted to carbon dioxide, heat to CO2, and heat is generated. Hydrogen is converted into water vapors, 2H2 plus O2, 2H2, right? Okay. So, these vapors or mixture of vapors of CO2 and H2O, they are allowed to pass through this tube and then through this U tube, which is previously weighed. Okay. So here it has anhydrous calcium chloride. That anhydrous calcium chloride will absorb moisture in the vapors. Only moisture, not CO2. CO2 will simply pass through this anhydrous calcium chloride, okay, and then through KOH bulb. So CO2 will be absorbed in this KOH bulb. Okay. So at the end of experiment, this tube and bulbs, they are detached from combustion tube and their weights are taken. Okay. So, so after taking weight, we will come to know increase in weight. Means final weight minus initial weight will be increase in weight of calcium chloride tube. Similarly, final weight of KOH bulb and initial weight of KOH bulb, the difference between these two is the weight of CO2. So these two quantities we need. Okay. So I hope you understood how to get it done. Okay. So this diagram and all I will post. Okay, everything in PDF. Don't worry. Harshad, too late. Okay, so I hope you understood this. Now, calculation part is very important. Okay, how to find out percentage of carbon and hydrogen with the help of quantities available, means amount of CO2 and amount of H2O. So this is what a combustion reaction that you need to keep in your memory. Formula not required to keep in your memory. I will show you. Okay, you can design formula during examination itself. No need to keep it in your memory. If you know this combustion reaction, C plus O2 CO2, but that reaction will be balanced. Okay, C plus O2 CO2. Now, if you look at this reaction, when what it says, when one atom of carbon is burnt in air, it will take one molecule of oxygen. One atom of carbon will take one molecule of oxygen for complete burning and one molecule of CO2 is produced. Okay. So this is what the balance reaction or interpretation of this reaction. Brother, according to this reaction, one atom of carbon needs one molecule of oxygen for complete combustion and one molecule of CO2 is produced. Okay. So with the help of this reaction, we can design formula. Therefore, one atom of carbon means how much? Its atomic weight, 12 grams. 12 grams of carbon, okay, needs one molecule of oxygen. Okay, that we don't need it now. Okay, that we will see combustion. We want amount of CO2. So that way we will interpret. So one atom of carbon is 12 grams. So 12 grams of carbon give 44 grams of CO2. Okay, 12 grams of carbon, okay, after combustion gives 44 grams of CO2. So now how to write formula that I will show you. Percentage of carbon is equal to, okay, reactant is carbon, its atomic weight 12, that you should write at numerator, divided by product produced, that is CO2, divided by 44 is molecular weight. So atomic weight of carbon upon molecular weight of carbon dioxide into amount of CO2 produced. actual amount produced during the experiment. Weight of CO2 produced means what? Weight of CO2 produced means what? Increase in weight of KOH bulk. Weight of CO2 produced means increase in weight of KOH bulk divided by weight of coal. Original weight of coal which was taken in porcelain boat, okay, into 100. That is what the percentage of carbon. This is a simple formula. Derivation we don't want. Nobody will ask how this formula is derived. It's very simple, but it is not included in our syllabus. Experiment may be asked, but this formula is very important because numerical problems are basically asked on this part. So you need to write this combustion reaction C2 CO2. It's 1 C means 12 grams. That gives 1 CO2 means 44 grams. So with the help of this, you can write the formula for percentage of carbon. That is equal to 12 means carbon atomic weight by 44 means molecular weight of CO2 into weight of CO2 produced during the experiment. That is increase in weight of KOH bulk divided by weight of coal into 100. That's it. Okay. So weight of CO2 produced म्हणजे काय तर increase in weight of KOH bulk. This weight of CO2 produced, so they may give weight of CO2 produced directly or increase in weight of KOH bulk. Metal ore. Now hydrogen. So its combustion reaction is this. 2H2 plus O2 gives 2H2. These two hydrogen molecules or 2 into 2, 4 hydrogen atoms. Okay, 4 hydrogen atoms. They need one molecule of oxygen for complete combustion and they produce 2 molecules of water. This is balanced combustion reaction for hydrogen. Okay. So therefore, 2 molecules of hydrogen means 4 atoms. One atom is 1 gram. 4 atoms is 4 grams. So 4 grams of hydrogen. Okay. When burned in oxygen, they take 1 molecule only for complete burning, and they produce 2 molecules of water means 36 grams. 1 molecule of water is 18 grams. Oxygen is 16 and 2 hydrogen is 2. 16 plus 2, 18. So 1 water molecule is 18 grams. 2 water molecules are produced means 36 grams of water produced. Okay, this is stoichiometry of this reaction. Okay, so percentage of hydrogen, we will use same logic. Reactant is 4 grams upon product means 36 grams. Reactant means hydrogen, product is water. So hydrogen upon water. Okay, 2 molecules of hydrogen upon 2 molecules of water. गौरव गोपते अटेंडन्स लावणार नाही, खूप लेट आहे. So hydrogen percentage is equal to percentage of hydrogen is equal to 2 molecules of hydrogen means 4 grams or 2 molecules of water means 36 grams into weight of product. So weight of product means H2. Weight of H2O produced upon weight of coal into 100. Very simple. Same logic. So here weight of H2O produced is equal to weight of H2O produced is equal to increase in weight of calcium chloride cube. Increase in weight of calcium chloride cube. Right? That's all. So it's very simple. If you know weight of the coal, okay, which was burnt in the combustion tube, and weight of H2O produced and CO2 produced, you can determine percentage of carbon and hydrogen very easy. You understand? Very simple. Okay. So let us see one problem. We take down one problem. Very simple problem. Write down 1.5 gram 1.5 gram of coal 1.5 gram of coal was taken for carbon and hydrogen estimation. 1.5 gram of coal was taken for carbon and hydrogen estimation by combustion method. By combustion method. By combustion method. The increase in weight of calcium chloride tube, the increase in weight of calcium chloride CaCl2 tube, calcium chloride tube, and KOH bulb, the increase in weight of calcium chloride tube and KOH bulb was found to be was found to be 1.25 gram 1.25 gram and 4.88 grams 4.88 grams respectively. 1.25 gram and 4.88 grams respectively. To stop, calculate the percentage of carbon and hydrogen. Calculate the percentage of carbon and hydrogen. This was asked in December 2008, December 2011. Okay. So I repeat, 1.5 gram of coal sample was taken for carbon and hydrogen estimation by combustion method. The increase in weight, okay, of calcium chloride tube and KOH bulb was found to be 1.25 gram and 4.88 gram respectively. Calculate the percentage of carbon and hydrogen. Okay. So here in this problem, we need to calculate carbon and hydrogen, right? So what basic data we need? We need weight of coal, that is given 1.5. What else we need? Sorry. We need weight of carbon dioxide that we want and weight of H2O. So weight of CO2 is there or not? Just find out. Weight of CO2 is there or not? And weight of KOH. Can somebody tell me what is the weight of CO2 in this case and weight of H2O? What is the weight of CO2 produced and weight of H2O produced? How to find out? See, in the experiment, we understood that weight of CO2 produced is the increase in weight of KOH bulb. Okay? CO2 is absorbing KOH. So weight of KOH, increase in weight of KOH bulb is weight of CO2. Okay? And H2O is absorbing calcium chloride tube. So increase in weight of calcium chloride tube is weight of H2O. So H2O is related with calcium chloride. Okay? So that means you should know this experiment. If you know this experiment, then only you can solve. Otherwise, problem is very simple. But you should not, you should not change this weight. You should not flip them by confusion. H2O is CaCl2. KOH is CO2. Okay. Now you tell me, what is the weight of CO2 produced? Problem वाचन सांगा ना.
4.88.
Correct, 4.88. Okay, so you should understand. some English over here. थोडं इंग्लिश मला कळायला पाहिजे, रिस्पेक्टिव्हलीचं मिनिंग कळायला पाहिजे. तर ते काय म्हणाले, the increase in weight of calcium chloride tube and KOH both. So calcium chloride is mentioned first and KOH is mentioned later. Okay, so consequently weight should be taken in the same sequence. So calcium chloride is 1.25. So H2O is 1.25. Okay, and KOH is 4.88. Means CO2 is 4.88. So your answer is absolutely correct. So weight of CO2, or I should write increase in weight of KOH, potassium hydroxide gas, and that is 4.88 grams. Okay. Okay. And third data we need is weight of water produced, that I want. So that is as good as increase in weight of calcium chloride cube. Okay, so that increase in weight is given 1.25. So this is the way you should take out data, okay, from problem statement. And usually you see, for in case of coal, carbon percentage is always high. Then only we can say it is a coal. Because carbon is high, then only calorific value will be high. So carbon percentage is always higher than H2 hydrogen percentage. So obviously higher weight is the weight of CO2 from data. If there is any confusion, okay, so higher weight is weight of CO2, lower weight is always weight of H2, because hydrogen percentage is always lesser than carbon percentage. That logic also can be applied. So now job is very easy. So as I mentioned before, you don't have to mug up the formula. You should know the reaction. C plus O2 gives CO2. This reaction you should know. And while solving combustion problem, which is latter part of this module, there you have to keep these reactions, keep these combustion reactions in your memory. Anyhow, you have to remember them. Okay, so only this balanced reaction is necessary and not formula. Formula you can automatically draw. So therefore, percentage of carbon is equal to. So according to this reaction, one atom of carbon is 12 grams, right? And one molecule of CO2 is 44 grams, right? So reactant is carbon, that is 12. Product means CO2, so that is 44 into weight of carbon dioxide produced upon weight of coal into 100. Okay, so that is equal to 12 by 44 into weight of CO2 is over here 4.88. Okay, upon weight of coal is 1.5 into 100. Very simple. Help me. किती आहे सांगा. बघा हे असं आहे का बघा, 88.72%. बघा बरोबर आहे का, एवढं मिळतंय 88.72.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so that part is over. The remaining part is percentage of hydrogen, and our logic is same. If we will not mug up the formula, we will keep this reaction in our memory, and that reaction is very simple. 2H2 when reacted with the oxygen, they will take only one. Okay, two molecules we will take one, and we will get two water molecules produced in the form of vapors. So two molecules of hydrogen means four atoms in all. Two into four. Four means one atom is one gram. So four atom is 4 gram. Okay, 4 gram. And two molecules of water. One molecule of water is 18. Okay, 18 into 2 is 36 gram. Okay, 36 gram. So if you know this, you can derive the formula for hydrogen any time. So, so weight of reactant means hydrogen, that is 4. We have the weight of product means water. 2 water means 36. Okay, into actual weight of water produced during the experiment. Weight of H2 produced upon weight of coal into 100. Okay, very simple. So 4 by 36 into weight of H2 is given, it is 1.25 upon weight of coal is 1.5 into 100 ppm. (9.25%) बरोबर आहे का बघा. Okay, so very simple. Okay, so they may give weight directly, or they may give weights of CO2 and H2O in terms of increase in weight of KOH bulb and calcium chloride tube respectively. Okay, if you understand that meaning only. Okay, otherwise it's very simple. So you just complete this. If you have completed, then we will proceed further. Okay, very simple. There is no twist in this problem. Okay, so we will proceed further. We will skip this nitrogen because it will take time. We will come to sulfur. Okay, percentage of sulfur. Nitrogen we will see maybe tomorrow. Okay, so percentage of sulfur by ISCA's method. So in this case, we will convert this sulfur into barium sulfate precipitate. The sulfur is there in a coal, okay, and it is combustible. We need to understand, or we need to know its amount accurately. If it is accurate, then final oxygen percentage will be correct, and all calculations will be correct. Okay, and then belongs formula, and then NC formula. So you can understand the importance of this. So in this case, sulfur present in coal is converted into barium sulfate, BaSO4 precipitate. Okay, by performing few steps, and that barium sulfate precipitate is measured. Its amount is measured, and that amount of barium sulfate produced is expressed in terms of percentage of sulfur. Okay, that is what the logic. So in case of first experiment, in combustion tube experiment, carbon was converted to CO2. CO2 amount measured, and that was expressed in terms of carbon. Hydrogen converted to H2O. Amount of H2O was then expressed in terms of hydrogen. Similarly, sulfur present in coal is converted to barium sulfate precipitate. Now it is precipitate here, not vapor. Okay, and amount of BaSO4 that can be easily measured. That is expressed in terms of percentage of sulfur. Okay, so let us see how to get it done. The first step is a known weight of coal is heated in a calorimeter. So here is bomb calorimeter mentioned. So one an apparatus, okay, used to determine calorific value of coal. There is a process. It was previously there in syllabus. Now it is removed from the syllabus. Okay. So a known weight of coal is heated in bomb calorimeter. What would happen? So all elements present in coal will undergo combustion. Similarly, sulfur will undergo combustion. Okay, and it will oxidize. So during heating, sulfur present in coal is converted to sulfate. SO4, you know well. Okay, sulfur present in coal is converted into sulfate. Now, during the experiment, vapors are produced, okay, and finally ash is produced after complete burning of coal. So that sulfates that go sulfates go into ash, not into vapors. Okay, because there are CO2 vapors, H2 vapors, but sulfate goes into ash. Means what? Non-combustible part. So that ash produced containing sulfur is then taken out from bomb calorimeter and treated, mixed with barium chloride solution. Okay, when the sulfates present in ash, they are converted into barium sulfate precipitate. White color precipitate is produced, BaSO4. So that precipitate produced, then washed thoroughly, dried and accurately weighed without wasting. Okay, so that weight is very important. You should not waste it during these steps of washing, drying, etc. Okay. So weight of BaSO4 precipitate, right? Weight of BaSO4 precipitate is then expressed as percentage of sulfur. Okay, weight of BaSO4 precipitate is then expressed as percentage of sulfur. So sulfur in coal. Now let us see the calculation directly. Okay, now you understood how sulfur present in coal is converted to BaSO4. Okay, first is burning in presence of oxygen in bomb calorimeter, when sulfur converted to actually sulfate, which is there in the ash. That ash is taken out carefully. Okay, whole quantity is taken out. Okay, this is quantitative experiment. The whole ash is taken out from bomb calorimeter and treated with barium chloride solution. So in between steps are there; those are omitted. Actually, the steps will not be asked. Okay. So ash is treated with barium chloride solution. When barium sulfate precipitate is produced, that precipitate is then taken out, washed, dried, and weighed accurately. And weight of BaSO4 is then expressed as percentage of sulfur as follows. If you look at the experiment, you will find one atom of sulfur is converted to one molecule of BaSO4. Okay, so the initial step is sulfur in coal is oxidized, is allowed to burn completely. Sulfur, a sulfate is produced that remains in ash. Okay, so ash is treated with barium chloride, and we have barium sulfate. So ultimately, one atom of sulfur is converted into one molecule of BaSO4. That is what the actual stoichiometry, which is useful for us. Okay? So one atom of sulfur is its atomic weight, and that is 32. So 32 grams of sulfur, okay, converted to one molecule of BaSO4. So one molecule of BaSO4 means 233 grams of Ba. Okay, one molecule of BaSO4 means its molecular weight. Okay, molecular weight of Ba plus As plus 4 oxygen. That comes to 33 grams. So theoretically, what we can say, if we have 32 grams of sulfur, 233 grams of BaSO4 will be produced. It is theoretical calculation according to this stoichiometric conversion. Okay. So now we will write the formula for percentage of sulfur. Accordingly, our logic is same. Weight of, or say atomic weight of sulfur and reactant with sulfur in coal, so that atomic weight at the numerator, then molecular weight of the product 233 grams, molecular weight of BaSO4 is the product that will come whole here in the denominator. Okay, the sulfur upon BaSO4, atomic weight of sulfur, molecular weight of BaSO4 into actual weight of BaSO4 produced during the experiment. Experiment will apply the 50 row, BaSO4 precipitation weight मिळालंय, that should be over here upon weight of coal, original weight of coal, which was burnt in bomb calorimeter. ते weight घेतलं पाहिजे. Weight of coal burnt in bomb calorimeter into 100. That's all. Okay. So what will happen? You will get percentage of sulfur. Once you know weight of BaSO4 and weight of coal, substitute in this formula and get percentage of sulfur. Okay. Understood? So this is very easy to understand. Uh, okay, so take down one problem. Very simple. Asked in 2010, I think. Write down 0.5 gram of coal sample. 0.5 gram of coal sample okay. So 0.5 gram of coal sample was burned in bomb calorimeter. So weight of coal is given. That is 0.5 gram. Okay. So 0.5 gram of coal was burnt in bomb calorimeter and produced 0.06 grams of BaSO4 and produced 0.06 gram of BaSO4 barium sulfate precipitate. Calculate the percentage of sulfur. Calculate the percentage of sulfur. I repeat, 0.5 gram of coal sample was burnt in bomb calorimeter and produced 0.06 gram of BaSO4. Calculate the percentage of sulfur. It's very simple. Okay. So to calculate percentage of sulfur, we need two figures. Okay. One is weight of coal, that is directly given 0.5 gram, and another is weight of barium sulfate precipitate capital by this, and that is 0.06. 0.06 gram. If you if you know these two quantities, you can determine percentage of sulfur. So we know that one sulfur atom is converted to one molecule of BaSO4. You don't have to mug up the formula. You should know this conversion, this type of it. One atom of sulfur is converted to one BaSO4 molecule. So one atom of sulfur is 32 grams and one molecule of BaSO4 is 233 grams. Okay. So percentage of sulfur can be written, a formula for this percentage of sulfur can be written with the same logic. Reactant is sulfur and its weight is 32. Upon product is BaSO4, its weight is 233. So reactant upon product into actual weight of BaSO4 is weight of barium sulfate, BaSO, weight of BaSO4 produced. On weight of coal, we can use in bomb calorimeter initially into 100. So it's very simple, 32 upon 233 into weight of BaSO4 is 0.06. Here the weight of coal is 0.5 into 100. Okay. How much?
One point six four eight zero.
Correct. 1.648%. So if you look at these possibilities, so problems are very simple, but you should understand the possibilities. Okay. Uh, so if you understand the possibilities, you can earn. Otherwise, you can't. Okay? Uh, so today we understood how to estimate carbon, hydrogen by combustion tube method. Okay. There is some simple logic. And then we studied how to determine percentage of sulfur using ESCAS method, that is combination of bomb calorimeter and quantitative analysis. Okay, so today we finish this. Then tomorrow we will see percentage of nitrogen by Geldas method and ash and finally oxygen. Okay, and then we will turn to the next part, combustion part and other part of the module. So one more thing I would like to tell you now. I already appeal to all of you that to prepare video of half minute maybe or maybe 45 seconds, okay, or maybe 1 minute, whatever that's suitable for you. ज्याच्यामध्ये तुम्हाला काय म्हणायचं आहे अबाउट दी कॉलेज वी हॅव टू से समथिंग अबाउट द कॉलेज ओके युअर एक्सपिरियन्स ट्रू एक्सपिरियन्स ओके लास्ट सेमिस्टर तुम्ही इथे आहात लास्ट सेमिस्टर कसं असतात काही मुलं अशी आहेत की जवळ 1 वर्ष आम्ही त्यांना बघतोय म्हणजे अगदी सुरुवातीपासून आम्ही जे सीईटीची प्रॅक्टिस टेस्टपासून तुम्हाला बघतोय तुमचे जे एक्सपिरियन्सेस आहेत ते एक्सपिरियन्सेस तुम्ही आम्हाला शेअर करायचे एक व्हिडिओ बनवून ओके जेणेकरून ते आम्ही कॉलेजच्या कॅम्पेनिंगसाठी वापरू शकतो ओके कॉलेजच्या कॅम्पसबद्दल तुम्ही बोलायचं आहे तिथे तुम्हाला टीचिंग कसं होतं नोट्स वगैरे बाकी कंडक्ट कसं आहे ओके तुमचा ओव्हरऑल एक्सपिरियन्स जो आहे तो एक्सपिरियन्स तुम्ही शेअर करायचा तर तुमच्यामध्ये अजून कोणी बनवले नाही आहेत का हे अजून माझ्याकडे तरी मिळालेलं नाही कोणाचं तर तुम्ही ते लवकरात लवकर बनवा तुम्ही तुमच्या माहितीवरती आपण काय तुम्हाला खूप काही बोलायचं नाही आहे मॅक्झिमम 1 मिनिट म्हणजे खूप झालं 1 मिनिट तुम्हाला त्याच्यामध्ये भरपूर बोलता येतं पण तुम्ही थोडं एक्सटेंड केलं तर काही प्रॉब्लेम नाही आहे ओके आम्ही रिक्वायर्ड त्यातला पार्ट घेणार आहोत आणि ते आम्ही पब्लिश करणार आहोत कळलं बिईंग अ स्टुडंट तुमचं स्टुडंट म्हणून आम्ही पब्लिश करणार मग SSPM कॉलेजचा हा फर्स्ट इयरचा स्टुडंट म्हणून तो आम्ही पब्लिश करणार आहे म्हणजे आमच्या वेबसाईटवर तुमचं येणार आहे असं तर तुम्ही जेवढा शक्य आहे तेवढ्याने ते लगेच बनवून मला पाठवून द्या ठीक आहे So today we will stop here. You just give your attendance and you can leave. Okay, thank you.